What's going on YouTube? Welcome back to another Fantasy Puck video. It's Chris, and today I'm going to be bringing you guys our Week 21 preview. Fantasy hockey playoffs is just around the corner, so if you're fighting for that last spot or you're just trying to get a better matchup in the first round, make sure that you're staying tuned to our channel. We're going to have all our weekly previews for you guys. We might even do the fantasy hockey weekly previews in advance. So you might get week 22 previews sometime this week, earlier than say Sunday, for example, which is when we normally do the previews, just to give you guys a couple extra days if you have ads that are still available this week by the end of the week that you can afford to just reach on guys early going into next week and win your fantasy hockey playoff matchups. But I want to know, guys, which traded player, we just had in the NHL trade deadline, lots of stuff happened. Which traded player had the biggest jump in fantasy value? To me, it's got to be Timo Meier. I don't think anybody else comes close. He's going on a sick New Jersey team with a bunch of offense, so I'm really excited to see him in New Jersey. I managed to get a hold of him in one of my leagues, too. I was super excited for it. As well as, guys, be sure that you're joining the Discord. If you guys have any questions about your fantasy hockey matchups or anything or what you need to target, we have a lot of people in Discord willing to help you guys. We're going to be super active in the next couple weeks here because of how important it is for you guys. Money on the line. We want to win our matchups and get all the money possible. As well as, guys, be sure that you're following us on Twitter for all of the fantasy hockey news and updates, especially with teams and players and different lineups with players getting moved to different teams. It's going to be very important to keep on all that, and I'll touch on that later in the video. As well as, guys, if you're interested in signing up for PrizePicks, be sure to use code PUCK. It really helps us with future sponsorships and everything going forward with the channel as well, too. So if you want to support the channel and you're interested in using PrizePicks, be sure that you use code PUCK. Let's get into the video, guys. All right, so lots of teams play 4 games this week. As you can see, we've got a bunch of options here, but there's only a handful that play on the majority of the off nights. Anaheim, Calgary, Chicago, and Winnipeg. And 2 of those 4 teams are pretty bad. So basically, I want to target players that I think are going to be effective. So we're going to pull a little bit from the 4-game 2-off nights. And not necessarily just the teams that have the best schedules, because even though Chicago has one of the best schedules this week, I think there's maybe one player in this video that's from the Chicago Blackhawks, just because of all the moves that they made. Like, even Max Domi's not even there anymore. He's on Dallas now. But moving on to the worst schedule for this week, Toronto and Columbus only play 2 games. So if you have a bunch of players from either of those teams, Leafs are a big one. Be sure that you're streaming at least one player this week to compensate for that. All right, moving on. Let's get into the forward streams. We got Matt Boldy at 73% and Joel Eriksson Ek at 71%. These are by far, I think, the best streamer options for the guys that are in kind of the smaller 8 to 10 team leagues. Boldy's been great. Power play 1. Jeek as well too has been unbelievable as of late. Good shot volume, good hit volume out of both, and Boldy is especially good when it comes to power play points, guys. So if you're interested in that and you need a winger, Boldy's your #1 pick for this week. You get 2 off nights, like I said. Same with Jeek. Like, if you need a center, like if you count faceoffs in your league too, like Jeek is probably rostered for that reason as well. But if you guys don't count faceoffs and you have Jeek available to you to stream for this week and you're in a smaller league, definitely do so if you need a center, especially if you own a guy like Tavares or Matthews. Troy Terry, probably your best option for a winger that's not like 70% owned for this week. Good option, shoots a lot. And there's really like not much on Anaheim else other than like Terry McTavish and Zegras. But like Terry's been solid this year as well, guys. Great schedule for this week as well too. 3 off nights, so be sure that you take advantage of that if you need a right winger. Same thing, Blake Wheeler. A little bit of a difference in ownership there by like 10%-ish. It's 9% technically, but again, good option. Really good schedule for this week. You get him for 3 off nights. He hits. He's on line 2. He's on power play 2. Good option for you guys. He's been solid. Hasn't been great, but he hasn't been bad by any means. So again, really good option. And then probably my favorite option for the week is Mikael Backlund. He's been shooting the puck a ton, guys. Go look at his game logs right now. I'm pretty sure he's had 5 shots in the past 2 games, and then preceding that, he's had 4 shots in the last, at least minimum 4 shots in the last 5 games. So he's been shooting the puck a ton. Love him. If you need a center, again, you get him for 3 off nights this week. Really good option. Moving on to some of the deeper forward streams here, guys. Nino Niederreiter. Now, typically, I don't like to jump the gun and grab players that were just immediately traded to teams after trade deadline, because especially guys that like you're not 100% sure of, they get moved around the lineup a lot. Like Nino is on line 1 currently right now with Scheifele and Connor, so that's why I have him there as well too. I think he might actually be right wing eligible as well too. I'm not 100% sure, guys. Just double check that for me. But again, really good schedule this week. One of the best. Good option. He's not playing power play 1 time, but he is on power play 2. But again, if you get a guy that's paired with Scheifele and Connor, I want him for the week. Absolutely. Is he going to stay on line 1? I don't know. And this is the thing with the players that have like just been traded. I don't know if he's going to stay on line 1, guys, but Ehlers hasn't been good for Winnipeg, and I don't know what's really going on with him. His time on ice has been down drastically as well too, and they seem to just have Nino on the top line right there. So really good streaming option for you guys. Dylan Dubé has also been very good for Calgary. Shoots, he hits. He's playing line 1 with Elias Lindholm and Tyler Toffoli. So again, really good streaming option for you guys. Less than 20% owned. Great schedule for the week. Same with Mason McTavish. Like, there's not a lot on Anaheim, but he is only 14% owned, so he should be readily available to most people. Center left wing eligible. I think he's playing lines. I think they have him as the top center right now. I think he's playing with Troy Terry. And just, again, power play 1. You can't go wrong for a guy that's 14% owned if you're in a deep league and you need to stream a player. Dual eligible as well, guys, so good option there. Shane Pinto, really good option for 5% owned. Ottawa has been on fire lately. They've just been getting on their horse and trying to make their way into that last wildcard spot. Pinto's their line 2 center right now, guys. He's with DeBrincat. Like, just so much upside here. He's been great as well too. He's been producing. His shot volume's kind of inconsistent. Like, there's some games where he has like 4 or 5 shots, and then there's other games where he'll get you 1 or 2, and he usually gets you a hit or 2 a game. But for 5% owned and a decent schedule for this week, you get him for 2 off nights, and you get really good upside with him being on that power play 2 as well now, with Chychrun on the back end. So I like Pinto for 5%, honestly. And then Jacob Pelletier, he's playing with Huberdeau and Kadri on the second line. So for 2%, really good exposure to 2 really good players who have been great the whole season. I like for 2% owned. I might have actually mixed up him and Dubé, but they're both playing top 6 minutes, both on power play 2. Pelletier's been great. Doesn't have a ton of shot volume by any means or hit volume, but you just pick him for the upside that he's playing in the top 6 in Calgary, and 2% owned, like, you can't go wrong with that. All right, moving on to the defensive streams. John Klingberg, I think, is your #1 pickup for the week if he's available in your league and you need a defenseman. He should be power play 1 now, guys. I'm assuming that Addison's going to get bumped down or even scratched at this point. He has been healthy scratched a bunch this year already. I don't know if that was for the fact that they wanted to showcase one of their defensemen, or the fact that it's just likely that they brought in, like, basically my mindset is the fact, like, why would they go and acquire Klingberg if they have Kalen Addison there on power play 1? I think Klingberg's just going to take over that role for the remainder of the season. They just want to get a little more deep on their defense. So I'm assuming Klingberg's going to be power play 1, guys, going forward. Again, this is why I say I don't normally want to jump the gun when it comes to players that have just been traded to other teams, because you don't know where they're going to play. It's very possible they just keep Kalen Addison power play 1, but I think Klingberg has a ton of upside now after coming off of a brutal Anaheim team. And then Matt Dumba, 17% owned. Same thing, good schedule for this week. Good peripherals defenseman as well, too, if you need shots, blocks, and hits. Plays over 20 minutes a night. Great option for you guys. He's kind of flown under the radar this year. Really, really solid stream option for this week, guys. And then we go to Anaheim with Cam Fowler, and he's the power play 1 defenseman there now. There is really no other defenseman that he has to really compete with in terms of time on ice. He should... Guy's probably going to play like around 24 minutes like he did last year. So I like Fowler, especially just the schedule this week too, guys. 15% owned, should be readily available to most people. And then if you need a guy for peripherals that's low percent ownership, Connor Murphy's a great option. Same kind of similar situation to Cam Fowler, where there's just nobody else on Chicago now outside of like Seth Jones. So he's going to be paired with him on the top pair. He's going to play over 20 minutes a night. He's going to eat pucks and he's going to hit everything that moves, just like he's been doing the whole year, except now he's just going to be doing it more frequently because there's really no one else in Chicago that's going to be playing defense. So for 5%, I really like Connor Murphy if you guys need a deep defensive stream. Moving on to our week 21 goalie streams, Philip Gustafsson is only still 67% owned, guys. This guy should be over 80% owned. I don't understand why people aren't picking him up. He's putting up Vezina numbers right now. He's the #1 goalie in Minnesota, and he's got 2 back-to-backs this week too. The first one, he's likely getting the matchup against Winnipeg, and then the other one is a toss-up. It doesn't really matter which one he gets. One's against San Jose, the other's against Arizona. If this guy's available in your league, please pick him up if you need a goalie. He's been unbelievable, and no signs of slowing down right now with Minnesota pushing to get a better spot in the playoffs. Akir Schmid, the New Jersey Devil backup right now, got brought up from the AHL because Mackenzie Blackwood is injured again. Shocker. 6% owned. You get him against a really good, or you get him in a really good matchup against Montreal. The only downside is it is on one of the busier nights in the NHL. So if you need to stream a goalie for whatever reason, Akir Schmid is a really, really good option. New Jersey's been an absolute wagon this year, and they just got Timo Meier. So I'm assuming they should absolutely wipe the floor with Montreal. Kevin Lankinen, another good option, 4% owned. He gets a really good matchup against an Anaheim team that just has no one on it anymore. At least it feels that way to me, guys. Obviously, like, you've got Zegras, McTavish, Terry's the last one that's really just on Anaheim, but everyone else is just kind of, they're like Chicago at this point, honestly. They're just tanking. And then Alex Lyon is the absolute desperation play for you guys. You get him against Chicago. He's not great by any means, but he does play on Florida, and he is playing a back-to-back on an off night. So if you guys really, really, really are desperate for a goalie, Alex Lyon is right there for you guys. That is going to do for this video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Be sure to hit that subscribe button and that like button if you guys enjoyed the content. Like I said, we got a bunch more coming for you guys. We know this is an important time of the year with fantasy hockey playoffs in possibly like 2 weeks for you guys, but so be sure to stay tuned for that. We're going to get you guys all the good content for you in the next coming weeks. So be sure to stay tuned. I'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you so much for watching. Have yourselves a fantastic rest of the day.